All right, hello everyone. So let's take a look at 15th of May. I got gold in front of me. Now this is where we're at. Now if you took astrology from me, you would have had the morning one here. All right, that would be nice and easy for you at 3:21. And this would have been easy for you as well. Coming up here into 4:30. You would have gotten that too. And this one at 6 o'clock. 5:30 and 6 o'clock, you would have gotten this as well. And now we're up here. I didn't draw any lines here simply because it's 9:20 a.m. in the morning and we're looking ahead. So this is where the astro hours are. Let's take a look at the week. So always starting with the weekly as usual. Now remember last week, from the highs we said we could sell, from the lows we said we could buy, and I did say the market should start to come down and picked up from here, and we should now come back into this zone again. So this is a place where the market, as you can see, is doing a bit of a goodbye kiss. So this is our resistance. So if the market wants to sell, this zone is okay to sell from 2025 to 2020, that weekly period. It's good to sell. We might do a sweep up here because the stops are over here and we've got even highs here. So if the market comes up a little bit, touches that 2025, is also good. This is going to be a sell zone for us at Astro Hours. Okay, if it breaks above that, hold your horses. Don't go against it, because if it starts breaking above that, we might find ourselves up there with the new moon coming in on Friday. If you want to buy, the first place to be buying is going to be down here this week, because that's going to be the low of last week, coming from a retest all the way from back there on the 5th of May. Okay, I had marked this level in before, as you know, so it's not a surprise for any of you. All we got to do is extend it in that direction. Okay, and it should also dip down a little bit. It has filled in the gaps, but still, selling from the highs, buying from the low is not a bad option. It's not a bad option. Now, if they sell nicely, we got room to come down into that 33.28.94. So 1955.52. 1955.52. That's your 52. That's your 55. All right, so that's your target zone there. On the weekly, that is 63, which is 1994. So 1994 is nice. It's on the weekly, and this will be a nice support level for us to go in. Okay, because that's that weekly support. Now that resistance there is LCL1, which is 2021, which is coincidentally right in there. So this zone, like I said, is okay to sell at Astro Hours. Now there is a bit of a touchy situation that's going to happen as we get closer to the opening hours of the US. Okay, but until then, if we're up here somewhere during these hours, including this one, which is 1 o'clock, all right, this zone is going to be a nice sell zone. Make sure you put your stop losses, because like I said, there is a tricky situation coming into New York opening, which is going to be 4:45 my time. Okay, and then that might be a bit of a surprise move there until the next set comes in the evening there. All right, so be mindful, but selling is definitely an option. Euro dollar. Let's take a look. Now it's a new week. We talked about this before. We said we would get into this zone. If you sold the euro dollar last week, you would have come into that zone and all good. On the weekly today, let's take a look. Right, there you go. Beautiful coming in. Now the support for the week is going to be at 54, 1.0823. 1.08. Let's put a new line there. 23 is there. All right. I'll get rid of this because this target is already done. This target is already done. We'll keep that. Let me refresh this so we get the weekly and the daily sorted out. Rightio there. So we can still sell this. Not a bad idea. Okay. Daily pivot is not a bad idea. Weekly pivot is not a bad idea. Selling this, I think, is still the way to go. But once we get there, be careful. Okay, this is a big drop. So the market wanted to go back. What's the low of that? 1.0942. Low of that is 1.09. 1.09. Is there. All right, so coming up here, 1.0942 is here. Okay, these are both doable. Okay, they're both doable. Let me get rid of this. Okay, so if it comes down, buying it to go up, or if it goes up before coming down, selling it from the highs, they're both good. Okay, I can now get rid of this actually. Let's get rid of these. Right. 0978, I'm going to get rid of that. 44, 1.0913 is going to be on the daily. 1.0913 is there. And that's pretty much on the weekly. Alright, so the weekly pivot is also good, matching the daily there. Okay, so this matches the daily. That's a good place to also sell. The weekly is just too far out there. But that's pretty much doing a good buy kiss there as well. So yeah, a bit of a push up and then selling off is not a bad idea. You can definitely follow that on the daily as well, which is, like I said, those levels. No surprises here. We're already there. Okay. If the market goes up a little bit, it's good. Because there's a good support level there, and then we'll see how things pan out from the highs. We want to be selling again, obviously. All right, I'm going to get rid of this as well. No longer needed. The good buy kiss was done here. US 30. Let's take a look at the new week. That's nice from the highs. Like I've been saying, we need to sell from the highs, and the market sold off last week very nicely. Okay, very, very nicely. If we go back up again, selling is the way to go. Okay, so where can we do that? The first spot is going to be that 49.33.501. 33.501 is right in there, which is a zone we marked in before, as you know. All right, so 33.501. This zone is going to be okay to retest and to sell off. Nice. I can now extend this. We will do this. I will also move it up to here. Okay, so coming back into this zone is okay. This zone is also okay to sell at Astro hours, but this hasn't been broken. Okay, hasn't been broken, but they would like to break it. So we came to the target last week, which is nice and easy, and not much to talk about here. Sell the highs. Okay, on the weekly, let's see if we've got a sweet spot. We don't. What about on a price action level? That's still going to be there. 33. Oops. 33. 575. So we're going to take this zone, guys. Okay, this is the zone. The PST levels. So if we end up here somewhere, I'd say good to sell again. Okay, it's a beautiful drop zone here, and that's basically it. Okay. Yeah, no selling here because remember we said we'd come down here and that's all good. At the lows, you got the support 36, so that should be a target, 33,005. Okay, so this is going to be a target zone for us. On the daily, if it breaks above that 49, just take it easy. Okay, don't rush into anything. Just wait. And if we keep breaking down, we should come down nice and easy with this channel here. Pushing it further and further and further down. Okay, and that's how it should pan out. Okay. Let's take a look at SP 500 Nasdaq Bitcoin. Okay, SP 500, let's take a look at the weekly chart. Nice and easy. 60, 4197. 4197 is there. That's going to be your weekly sell zone. Can it get there? Yeah, it can get there. Let's do this, tighten this up a little bit. So last week, as you can see, we sold from those levels nice and easy on Friday as well. Beautiful, right on the Astro hours, coming up to the highs, just a beautiful sell-off. Now we want to sell again. Where? Well, this is a good place. They sold off. All right, so this zone plus the gap. See, they just closed the gap here. Today's first hour. Let's bring it in here. Okay, so that's your 10, 15. It's actually supposed to be 10 minutes past 7. It's 10 minutes past 10, but never mind. And then this is going to be 10:30, 10:45. So that's, and it's not a bad sell place either, as you can see. You can definitely mark this zone as well, as that's the manipulation there. So this is also a place to sell, doable. Okay, nice and easy, beautiful push since the morning hours, and no wonder with, Mars giving it great energy. So this should simmer down a little bit. Retracement back into probably the daily, weekly can happen to go back up again. If it breaks the daily, weekly, and then starts going lower, then we're going to head down, obviously. Okay, so selling at the tops is not a bad idea at all. I'll still keep this in. This is high of last week's zone. Okay, and then SP of 500. Once again, all you got to do, guys, is just put the Astro hours I give you for today on the members area. Just put them down here on here. Okay, on the chart, and then match time to price, and then turn it around. Like I said, with New York opening, after New York opens until 4:45, we're going to have a push in the market. So it's going to take us somewhere. So be mindful. Okay, and that could be looking at you. Whoops, no, what are we doing there? Now on the daily, this is a good zone, as you can see, because this is where the goodbye kiss is happening on the price. If it breaks above that, you don't want to muck around. Okay, so this 54 zone, this 4138. From 4138, this zone here. All right, 4138 into this purple zone is your sell zone. If it starts breaking above this, be mindful. Don't stand in front of it. Let the market do what it needs to do. Okay, because it's a good breakout on the pullback. If we come back into an Astro hour, it'll be good to go long again as well. but this is a good push down from last week, twice, 3 times, once, twice, 3 times, okay? So going back up again to sell, it'll break it next time. So, well, definitely worth looking out for, okay? Now what I've got to do, let's extend this, because if it comes back down, it should, it should start to push lower, and it should break it down if it's going to go down. So on the weekly, we're at the tops here. So selling down into this zone is not a bad idea. That 53 level is what we're going to look out for support, 4,095. So we're going to move this right there. So the market actually has to break this 4,095 zone if we want to if we want to see the market going lower. Okay, so that's that. On the daily, let's see, we've got 46, which is 4,101. So 4,101, this is your support range there. Okay. That's your zone. 101, 4095. And then if we go below that, your target's going to be 4,075, 67, 53. 75, 67, 53. All right, so this will be your zone here. All right, so selling the highs, I think it's not a bad idea. We might get a good push through, okay, and then the market should sizzle down in the evening. NASDAQ, let's take a look. This zone we talked about. Oh, let me just check this. Because this zone is still on the card, so we've got to be careful for this zone. The reason is the gap. Okay, so be careful. This is why I said if it starts breaking out, be smart, okay? Because we might just keep pushing up. So be smart here, okay? It's a bit tricky. As you can see, look, if you stay loyal to the hours and prices, even under such silly conditions like this, you can still make money. Why? Because the astro hours, you see astro hour, astro hour, astro hour, astro hours, astro hours. You see, if you play your cards right with time and price, even with stupid market conditions going up and down, terrorizing everyone, you're still in the game. Okay, you can make good money. So here as well, same kind of thing, astro hours here, and then wait for the astro hours to see what's going to happen on the daily, weekly open. Asia low is also a good idea to keep an eye out for. Always the Asia low. Okay. And play it that way. NASDAQ on the weekly. Now here we are. There's a bit of a breach here, as you can see. There's a good push last week in there. On the daily, yeah, we talked about this zone as well. This is a sell zone as far as I'm concerned, because they filled it all in. So we should look for a sell. The only other option that can keep me guessing is maybe we'll go a little bit more higher, but we went into there. So I'm still looking to sell at highs, okay? If I wanted to do this, yeah, that's basically the line there, right? If you took technical analysis from me, those levels from last week was all good. So this zone for me is still a sell zone. Okay, this is looking like an ending diagonal here in this zone. So what we've got to do is just play it down, sell on the highs at astro hours is good. And then the market needs to push down. Okay, boom, boom, boom. So a bit more care needed on NASDAQ, okay, because it's breaking out here. And on the monthly too. So maybe we'll push up a little bit and then we'll see how things pan out, okay? But all the indices will go together. So if I make this a little larger, right, This zone is still a sell zone, and the gap has been filled in, so selling at the highs I think is still a good option. Okay, but better, keep an eye out on the Nasdaq, or on the Dow Jones and the SP 500 in comparison to this, because there's got a bit of a breakout happening here. Bitcoin. Last week we said, well, for weeks I've been saying sell the highs. And if you've been doing it, fine. We said we'd break this zone. It's broken. We've got room to come down. It should come down. Basically, it's going up. So if it goes up, we sell again at, levels. What we got here, 47, 48, 54, 27, 600, 27, 800, 28, 400. On the weekly, we're pretty much on there, and that's your good buy case. So this should start to come down into the 24, 400, 22,000 zones there. Okay, 23. So we should have targets of 24. Yeah, down here. Okay, so 23 zone. Alright, so we should sizzle down into this zone. So selling the highs is not a bad idea. This will still fall down. Okay, so they like to look for a good level to sell up, and all the amateurs get excited with the rush, and then they start buying into it. If you bought into it in the Asia morning session at the early hours because of astrology, financial astrology around here at 321 there, you would have been okay. Obviously for your intraday trade, you know what to do. But obviously it needs to come back. Okay, so selling the highs is also a good option. Let's take a look at the weekly, monthly here. Those highs there, weekly. Well, we don't have a real weekly level except this 56, which is right on there, 27,436. 27,436 is pretty much there. Okay, that's the level. On the daily, like I said, we've got an extreme of 28,400. All right, about here. Whoops. So that's one level. The others are these PST 4748, 27, 600, 800. 27, 800 is around there. Okay. And still I think it's sellable to push down. Okay. And yeah, like I said, this is a breakout and that's fine. Going back into a good buy case, it's doable. Once it does that as well, you can sell off again. It's fine. Nothing new here, so